Hey, it's Brian Wright with BrianWright732.com, and I'm here to talk about falling in love with your business. More so, falling in love with how you do business. One of the biggest mistakes you could ever do is fall so in love with how you do business or how you've made money in the past that it makes you incapable of shifting and changing as the markets change going into the future. One of the biggest problems you get with a generational gap in business is that people, they remember the best time. So, if you think about it, what was 10 years ago in your mind? For me, you say what was 10 years ago was probably like 1998. But in reality, it's 2016, and 10 years ago was 2006, which seems like that. But kind of like when you say, what do you feel like was 10 years ago, you're going to tend to go back to what was that greatest time in your life. And when you go back to that time, you'll tend to be nostalgic about how things were. So if you're fighting the fact that Snapchat's big right now, you're being nostalgic. If you're refusing to put ads on Facebook, you're being nostalgic. If you're refusing to have an updated website, to interact with customers, you don't like email, you don't like texting, you really have to get over yourself. You have to understand that how you do business in 2016 is different than how you did business 2 years ago. Forget about 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So if you fall in love with how you made your money at one point in your life and you think that's how you're going to do it over and over and over and over again, you're going to fall behind. Somebody else is going to come in. It doesn't mean necessarily someone younger is going to come in and take you out, but you're going to be taken out by somebody who just has the ability to recognize what the real results are. If you are a business person, your main thing to stay successful is to generate capital. You have to create enough money to justify the hours you're putting in and the investments that you're personally making within your business. So if you want to continue to make money, you have to grow up with the times. You have to grow as a business with technology. This right here, my cell phone, your cell phone, everyone's cell phone, that's dictating how everything is being done. Pretty much everybody on the planet has a phone, and 99% of them have smartphones. People are doing more on their phones than they've ever done anything. And that is, crossing over to their computer habits, whatever. Everybody is immersed in technology. If you're a non-technology based business, I'm not saying that you have to go nuts with technology, but you have to understand that the way you did business in 1985 is not the way that you could successfully do business in 1995 or 2005 or whatever. Do you remember not that long ago when the yellow pages actually mattered? Do you remember when the first thing you did when you opened up a business or moved into an area was you either took out an ad, or if you were a consumer, you went to the phone book to find something? No one does that anymore. The yellow pages are dead. Yellowpages.com is dead. Google, Facebook, all that crushed that business. You don't want to be one of those people. Direct mail, look at what it costs to mail things nowadays. Stamps are like $1 and change. So if I have a customer base of 1,000 people, it's going to cost me over $1,000 to send out a mailing, which, depending upon your business, I don't know how many of those have to be closed to justify that expense. But if I'm going to do something with advertising, I want to be able to get 10 times the value back. So if I spend $1, I basically want to make 10 times back. The internet makes that possible. Mobile technology makes that possible. Direct mail, I don't know if I can do that anymore because, I get mail. I don't even go through the clipper anymore. I throw it out because everything I need to know, I already know because I was emailed directly by the people I care about. I searched it. I saw ads on Facebook, whatever. Digitally, I am bombarded with all the things I need. I don't need my mail anymore. Unless it's handwritten, half the time I just throw my mail out anyway that is not a bill or something like that. So what I'm saying is, don't fall in love with how you did business before. Don't be somebody that's got their head in the sand saying, I don't need to upgrade, I'm fine. Because while you think you're fine, somebody else out there is figuring out how to be 2016 about their business, about your business, about your customer. So if you see your sales dwindling, it's because you're not interacting in a modern, updated way. And every one of you, this is the point when it comes to technology, every single person out there watching this ran into somebody not very long ago who didn't like texting. They didn't like email. That goes back even before texting. But all of those people now are texting. Half of them are sending emojis. And email is kind of dead. Where you had a 90% open rate in the 90s, now you get like a 3% open rate, and you're a rock star with an email you sent out. So you've got to realize that everybody will succumb to the technology at some point because the marketplace is forcing us to make that shift because the only way to do certain things is online now. You know, so you've got to just understand that the way you did business before is not necessarily the way you could do business today. The structure, the message, that can all stay, but the way you communicate with your customer has to be updated. You have to constantly looking for what's going to be the next thing. You know, MySpace is dead. Some of you won't even know what that is. Some of you older people that didn't come onto the internet until lately, you missed all the social networks that have already crashed and burned and moved on from. A weird fact for you to understand, somebody threw this out the other day, that something like 6 out of every 10 pages on the internet that are looked at are Facebook. So if you think Facebook ads are a waste of time, you're a little crazy on that one because the majority of people are looking more at Facebook than they are at anything. You know, Google AdWords, they're on a decline because Facebook is dominating the marketplace. And then you've got this riser of Snapchat where if you think that that's like a teenage app, you've got to realize that that 15, 16-year-old in 3, 4, 5 years is going to be making their own financial decisions. And if you got in now and you started developing a relationship with that person that you're looking at as stupid because they're young and they don't have money or whatever, you're missing the opportunity to, you know, pre-hit your future customer. So you can't look at young people and say they're stupid, and you can't, you know, label millennials as whatever everybody's labeling them as, because in time these people will all be the next consumer base, and if you don't have a respectful relationship with your future consumer, they're not going to give you their money. They're going to give money to someone that either came up with them or at the bare minimum respects them. So don't look at everybody as crazy, and, you know, don't think that your way was better, because then you're falling in love with yourself, and you just have to be open to the market shifts. You have to be open to the idea that if you really are a business person and you really are good at what you do, you're going to be progressive. You're not going to be stagnant. You're not going to be stuck in the past. You're not going to be nostalgic of the better days, because right now is the best day possible because it's the only day you've got. Everything in the past is experience. Right now is the time for action, and you have to take appropriate action. You have to take 2016 specific action. So that's the deal. Wake up to the reality of what year you live in, start behaving that way, and stop wishing it was what it was before, because it will never be that way again. All right, later.